What's up, everybody? So today we're going to learn how to make pho. And traditionally it takes probably 2 days to make it, but we're going to use some culinary tricks and skills to kind of maybe do it in 8 hours or so or less, get all the flavors, and we're gonna roast the bones and the aromatics and make sure everything's all nice and dark and caramelized before we start boiling it. And we're going to get all of our side garnishes and all of our side dishes ready while it's cooking. And it's pretty easy. It may seem like a lot, may seem crazy, but once you break it down into steps, it's super simple.
Okay, so we have oxtail, neck bone, and femur bones, and we're going to coat them in olive oil and lay them out on a sheet pan and roast them in the oven on a broil high setting for like 45 minutes until they look caramelized, just like this. This is what you want. It's flavor, it's deliciousness. Just look at that knuckle bone. It looks so good. So we're gonna put these into a big, large stock pot, and then we're going to cut up our onions and our ginger and roast those also the same way in the oven. Oil. That's it. That's all you need. A little bit of oil, and put them in the oven until they're caramelized. Now we're going to put ice cold water into the stock pot to cover the bones.
Alright, so we got this on the stove and we got it on a medium to low heat because we don't want to bring it to a rough rolling boil. We want to just bring it to a light simmer, and we're going to skim off the top because there's still going to be some scum and some blood even though we roasted the bones. To make a clean broth, there's several steps to make sure, right? You want to either blanch them or roast them and then bring them to a slow boil with cold water, and it'll extrude all of the scum from the bones, and you'll just skim them out and your broth would be really clean. And we're also going to add a nice piece of brisket to this, and that's going to give us some of our meat for the pho, and it's also going to add a nice meaty flavor along with the bones.
Alright, so now we're going to put a nice piece of brisket into the stock pot. This is going to give a lot of meaty flavor, and it's also going to give us meat for our bowl at the end. So here we're going to make cilantro oil. So we're going to blanch the cilantro leaves for like 30 seconds in boiling water, and then we're going to put them into an ice bath to kind of stop it and give it a nice color. So we're going to dry it out just like that, and we're going to chop it up, put it into a blender, and we're going to blend it with oil. So just blend it as best you can. I would use coffee filters here. I don't know where mine were. So here's the onions and the ginger, and we're going to put those in the stock pot just like that. And
Alright, so we have cinnamon sticks, star anise, coriander. Coriander seeds are pretty much just seeds of the cilantro plant. So, just so you know.
Alright, now we're going to toast our aromatics just until they start to smell very fragrant over heat, and we're just going to toss the pan so they don't burn. And then that's going right into the stock pot. And we're going to now add some lemongrass that I've cut up. And that's pretty much it. Now we're just going to let it simmer for 4 to 6 hours. So now we're taking some rice noodle and soaking it in water so that when we boil it, it's only a few seconds. Here, just cutting up some lime wedges for our garnishes for the pho. So here we're going to do like lime, we're going to do pickled onions. We're gonna do regular onions. And it's just a bunch of sides that you can build your own pho with. Here we got some Serrano peppers. We're just gonna thinly slice them, and then along with some garlic that you'll see here. We're going to smash some garlic for the stock pot because I forgot to put garlic in. And then we're going to slice up some garlic, and we're going to later put those with the serranos. And just finally chop up some cilantro. Cut up some green onions. And then we're going to do some spearmint leaves because that's what I like in my pho bowl. Here I'm just squeezing out some of the lime juice. Try to use everything. We're going to add some rice vinegar. And then we're going to add some salt. And we're going to make our pickled onions. So it's just that, right? Two lime juice, it's a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of salt, and then we're going to add some cilantro fresh and let that sit for like an hour or so, and it's going to be delicious. Here we're making that garlic serrano vinegar sauce I was talking about earlier, and we're going to add a little bit of red pepper flakes for some color and just straight vinegar. That's it. That's all you need. And it's a great addition to your pho bowl. So we're getting water on the stove, and then we're going to pull out all the bones from our stock pot and set those aside so they can cool a little bit. And we're going to get our brisket out of there so that can cool. So you want to take a couple pinches of salt to your water before you add in your noodles. And that goes for everything. It's pasta water should always be seasoned with salt. So this, because it's been rehydrated, it's only going to take a few minutes. So even less than that, I would assume, depending on what thickness that you've bought your noodles at. But I like the really thin noodles. And so we're just going to let that sit on the side, just like that. And we're going to go back to our stock, and we're going to strain that into a large bowl or even another stock pot through. So look at that broth. It's beautiful. So we haven't seasoned with salt at all. So we're going to season a little bit of it, mix it, and taste it, and make sure there's enough seasoning in it. So here we're just going to take some time and pull off all the meat from all the bones and set them aside. Thinly slice our brisket. As you can see here, it's fatty and delicious, and it's going to be delicious in our pho bowl. So we're going to heat up some of the stock, make sure it's boiling, and now we're going to build our bowl. So we're putting a big piece of noodles. We're putting some raw, thinly sliced Kalbi meat. We're doing our cilantro, just a little bit of the spearmint, a little bit of the bone meat and tendons, and the brisket, just a couple pieces. Then we're going to do our onions and some green onions. And now we're going to ladle in and pour in the broth right over the raw meat, and it's going to cook it. Now we're adding our limes. We're going to add our Serrano garlic vinegar sauce, not sure what you call it. And then we're taking our cilantro oil and just drizzling it for a nice color contrast with the soup. And there you have it. That's the soup. Now we're going to work with the dipping sauce. So straight hoisin and sambal. And then we're going to add our pickled onions from earlier. And that's it. That's how you make pho at home. Delicious.
All right, so here's the pho. It seems like it's a lot of work, but once you just get down the basics of it, it's not too bad. It's pretty much just putting everything in a pot, simmering it for 4 hours and then putting all the stuff you like into it and putting hot broth on it. But it is so delicious. So the way you eat it is you take the meat and you dip it on the side in the hoisin sauce or whatever sauce you like. The brisket, get it in that sambal. You can really taste the aromatics of the star anise and the coriander and the cinnamon. Throw a little bit of that lime juice in here. Some of the noodles. I like the thinner noodles, that's why I got them. You can kind of use whatever rice noodle you want. Oh my gosh. So in total, it took me about 6 hours to put everything together. A little bit of the mint, a little bit of the noodles. Oh man. Let's try a quick and easy lemon vinegar pickled onions. Oh. I'm in heaven, guys. I hope you guys make this at home. I post videos every Friday. And thank you for staying tuned. What?